Hi guys! I was actually just going to do a Lupron video, how to do Lupron, and then I started thinking, well, why would I just start off with Lupron video? No one's going to know why I'm on Lupron, so this is what I'm doing. I'm becoming a surrogate for the second time. I did one in 2014, delivered in 2015. And this might, it's probably going to take a while because I got to catch up on a few months. But I was with an agent. Well, first, I guess, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Kim. I wanted to become a surrogate actually, I've never even thought about becoming a surrogate until I was watching a show, and she had to use a surrogate because she had breast cancer and everything, and then they had like a documentary after the show about surrogacy. And I was like, well, dude, I could do that. Like, this sounds so fun. I'm sure it's not going to be, rainbows and glitter or whatever, but 3 kids of my own. So, yeah, why not? Like, at the time I was 25, and I always think, like, what am I gonna do with my life? I'm a stay-at-home mom. So yes, that's great. I'm raising our future generation, but like, what am I really, really gonna do to make an impact on someone else's life? And so, we actually went independently instead of with an agency, and that just means the agency is usually the middleman, how they take care of all the middle work and the uncomfortable conversations between the surrogate and the intended parents, and all that stuff. They take care of the legwork. And so we actually went independent last time, and this go around, I'm going to do with an agency. And if you're with an agency, basically how it works is you research all these, Google's your best friend. You look up all these agencies, and you figure out which one's the right fit for you. And if at first you have to what am I trying to say? You have to send in a lot of information about yourself, your medical history, your insurance policy. You have to make a profile for yourself so the intended parents can see what you like, what you're into, and if the agency feels that you guys, both you and the intended parents, are a good match, they'll set up a phone call and introduce you guys. And so I was with this agency I'm with right now since January of this year, 2017, and I had like, I think four profiles I looked at, and each one of them I said yes to, but for some reason or another, they didn't work out. And thank goodness, because June 10th, I got an email from the agency, and I saw their profile. The intended parents sent me an email talking about, just introducing themselves and why they need a surrogate and all that stuff. The moment I read it, I was like, these are the people I've been waiting for. Like, yes, everyone who really desires a child should be able to have it. Like, that's what I want. Like, to give people what they can't have. If I can help, yeah. But when I saw this letter, I was like, okay, this is the reason. So I immediately sent back an email to my agency saying yes, for sure. And then she got the same response from, no, I take that back. She goes, okay, we will set up a phone call. So they called me, and we talked for an hour. The first thing out of the intended father's mouth was a joke, which I didn't get at first, and I felt dumb after he had explained it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But they are amazing, so sweet, very, very, very down to earth. Him and my husband actually have a lot of stuff in common. And so, yeah, after I got off the phone with them, I immediately sent an email to my agency saying, yes, for sure, these are the people. And she got the same response the next day from them. And so how it works is you can either do it one of two ways. It just depends on what the agency says. You can either get the approval from the intended parent's clinic, like whatever clinic they already are using, you have to be approved through them as well. And so I actually got approved before I was even sent their profile. And so then the next steps are um, medical screening just to make sure that your body is capable of carrying this pregnancy, and a psych eval, just making sure you're not crazy and making sure you know what you're getting into. So I was officially matched June 14th, and then their clinic called me on June 21st. Sorry, I keep looking at my notes. June 21st, and the next thing I know, June 26th, I'm out in California, taking my medical screening, and that was an adventure in itself. Okay, so I don't really fly. I mean, I have before because, I was a surrogate, so you have to, do that. But I live in Kansas, and so everywhere else seems like, big, huge. I live in a town of 22,000 people. Like, you can walk places. It's super small. And I didn't get a travel companion, and so I had to go by myself. I mean, it was fine. I was just like super worried, like I have to navigate through California by myself. It's no. But it was fine. The plane didn't get hijacked. We didn't follow this guy. Yeah, so that was fun. We went there, and no, I say we, me. I went there, and the intended parents picked me up from the airport, and that was the first time I met them. Super, super sweet. And then they took me to Cheesecake Factory. Oh my gosh, so good. And then the next day, they actually took me to the beach afterwards, because they're like, hey, we want to take you around. Where do you want to go to the beach? Sure. Yeah, sure. I'm thinking, 30 minutes, whatever. And no, it was an hour one way. And so from where they live and where I live, it's 2 hours difference. So I was super tired anyways. But, I mean, who has a bedtime in California? Not this one. So I got to my hotel room at 1:30, I think. Super tired, super drained, went straight to bed. And, I forgot to tell you what we did at the, no, I didn't. Haven't got there. Yeah. So the next morning we went to, the medical screening. The intended mom took me to the medical screening. And it took about an hour. I had 8 tubes of blood taken. And then they did a saline ultrasound. And what they do is just like, it's a vaginal ultrasound, so they go up there. My goodness, sorry. They go up there, and then they fill your uterus up with saline so they can see everything, see if you have cysts, see if you have fibroids, all that stuff. And then I did have one cyst, but they said it's small and it should go away with your next menstrual cycle. And then that hurt, by the way. I mean, I've had one before. I had one in 2014 when I was a surrogate, and it didn't hurt that bad. I even took medicine with this time, and it just did not kick in first. So it was painful, like contraction painful. But it only lasted like 2 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. So after that, I talked to the doctor, and we talked about past medical histories and why I wanted to become a surrogate and what to expect. And then that was basically it. The intended mom dropped me off at the airport, and then I was back home. And that was June 26th. And then July 6th, the reason why I'm going in dates is because, it's kind of for my benefit too, so I can know, like, the timeline of stuff. And also just so you guys know the timeline, because I know when I was researching, like, surrogacy and everything, I was trying to find real-life experiences, not Google, but real-life experiences, and what to expect, timelines, and, all this stuff. And so I looked on YouTube, and guess what? There's quite a bit there. But people stop their stories, and it irritates the crap out of me because I'm just like, I was following you. What's going on? Are you okay? Did you have a baby? Did you get pregnant? Like, all that stuff. So they just, like, leave you hanging. But I do understand. It's hard work editing and trying to find time for it. And then you also have to look at your contract. What does your contract allow you to say? And then you don't want to get in trouble with that. Believe me, I would know. And then, So, sorry, rabbit trail. Where were we? Oh, I got back home, and then July 6th, I had to fill out a 344 true and false bubble question on the computer that basically just lets you know if, basically it tells the counselor your personality, like how you would handle things. How many different ways they can say that I've thought about killing myself, I don't know, because there's like 10. And you really have to think about what you're saying. Like, read everything, because there's little things in there that, like, but yeah. So that was July 6th, and then July 10th, I talked to the counselor on the phone, and she was really nice. Like, it was super, super business. Like, it was super quick. It was actually 17 minutes. And all she talks about your family, your personal life, your marriage, why you want to do surrogacy. Just lets you know the ins and outs. And, you know, one question that kind of threw me off was, what do you like about yourself and what don't you like about yourself? I had to think about it for a minute. And then she approved me right then and there, and then sent the email to my agency, and then we got the okay to keep on going. And so July 18th, we got all my labs done and everything. We got the lab results in from the medical screening. My husband also had to get his blood work taken. And then my lawyer got the contract from their lawyer. How it works is they will get the contract first and revise anything that they want or whatever, and then send it over to my lawyer, and then my lawyer talks to me. Well, usually it takes about 2 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on, you know, a lot of stuff actually. Well, it just so happened that the intended parents lawyer was going out of town on vacation for a week in 2 days. So we were like, okay, rush. So they got their contract on the 18th. I got the contract on the 19th and just changed like 1 or 2 things. And then it was signed by the 20th before their lawyer left. So that's like, I don't know, the fastest record. I don't know, I'm just saying that. It just seems like it. Okay, so from then, right after contracts, you get to start medications. And it took, you're on birth control for like 2 weeks beforehand before you can actually start injectables and all the medications as well. And I was on birth control for, I think, a week and a half, and then I got to start my Lupron. And then I'm on Lupron for 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks. And then I start all this other stuff like estradiol. Hold on, let me show you real quick. Okay, let's start from the beginning. This is my birth control, and a lot of people say, you're trying to get pregnant, why do you need birth control? Well, that is just so they can regulate when my period comes on, because all this stuff helps track, helps get your body regular, get your body ready to accept the embryo. So here we have Lupron. This is the Lupron injection. It's like a little diabetic needle, 28 gauge, super small. This is the actual medication that you inject, and that is just to help suppress your ovaries, make sure everything's quiet, to get ready for the next step. The next step is estrogen, and that is actually to help thicken the lining. And we inject it with this big guy. See if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. But yeah, we'll inject this into the booty, and that will come on the 25th. And then I start taking, I only do estrogen 2 times a week. And then I take my prenatals, and then Later on, I start the estradiol. The estradiol are these blue little pills that is vaginally inserted, so you just take one up there, it goes up. And then next step, we have an appointment, blah blah blah. Begin endometrium twice daily. That is that. As you can see, another great insert. And that helps thicken the lining as well, because now we're trying to get the embryo to stick. And the next one would be this. This is just a steroid. The next one is progesterone oil. And then you see this huge needle. This is a 18 gauge. But luckily, this is just to draw up the medication since it's super thick. This is also a booty shot, and we will be injecting with this guy. So, and that's a 22 gauge, 1.5. And then the Sharps container.